Hat tip to a gentleman by the name of Ian Harditz. He compiled the stat. I've done the background research, confirmed the numbers. I have found the thing that frustrates me most about the Carolina Panthers defense, which, by the way, at times has played really well this year, right? They didn't give up a ton of points against Arizona, especially when you consider some of the situations that the turnovers put them in and these other things. So it's been rough, but it has not been as bad as it could possibly be, right? I'm not Charlie Brown here saying it can't get worse. I definitely think it can. But that does not mean they aren't wildly frustrating. And the thing that frustrates me the most is they lack, ready for this, like pizzazz. They lack those that have a flair for the spotlight. They lack the big-time game-changing players. And that's not to say that Derrick Brown isn't awesome. Derrick Brown is awesome. He's drawing holding penalties pretty good right now. J.C. Horn had one of the coolest plays of the entire year of anybody. Just happened in a blowout loss. So Ian Harditz put together a list, and he called it Havoc. NFL defenses. Havoc to Ian is the percentage of plays that a defense registers either a pressure on the quarterback, a tackle for a loss, a forced fumble, an interception, or a pass breakup. So the plays that we remember, right? They either make life difficult for a quarterback, they somehow get their hands on the ball or almost get their hands on the ball, or make the offense lose yardage. That's pretty good, okay? Those things are the ones that get you ahead of the sticks. Those things are the ones that turn 1st and 10 into 2nd and 12, or even get your hands on the ball. They ignited defense.
Impact plays.
Number 1 in the NFL, just to give you a reference, is Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
The Panthers playing. 48% of the time, their defensive plays end in one of those outcomes. Middle of the pack, you're looking at like 16-17. Tampa Bay and Minnesota, they're between 37.3 and 37.6. That's like right in the middle of the league.
Okay.
The Panthers are 31st.
Ooh.
22.5%.
Not great, Bob.
It's not great, Bob. And it's not great, Steve and Jeff and everybody else. Although I know what you're doing, the Madman quote. Anyway, it's not great for a few reasons. Defense has swayed in the direction in the NFL specifically of rewarding the big play hunters. And the reason why I say that, it's too darn difficult with the rule changes, with how good offensive players are, with how good quarterbacks specifically, and I'm talking about like the top 10 guys are, it's too darn difficult to just make the right play over and over and over and over and not expect them to get the better of you at some point, or to not expect a ref to throw a flag on a glancing blow to a quarterback's helmet, or not call a defensive pass interference or a defensive holding. Like, if you have to make 9 good defensive plays in a row, the offense has the upper hand in a big way, which is kind of what you're asking defenses to do if you don't make those big plays, right? If you're just getting, even if you have a really good run defense and you're stopping them for 2 or 3 yards, which is good, right? You make contact with the running back at the line of scrimmage, he spins and leans and he gains 2 yards. That means you're facing if you do that back to back, you're facing a 3rd and 6. And with teams going for it on 4th down, you better not let them get even 4 yards on that play, which is another solid defensive play. And then you'd have to stop them on 4th down, or else they got a first anyway. You need guys that, instead of making your defense make 9 great defensive plays or 5 consecutive really good plays, you need guys that can make 1 correct play and the drive is over. Right? You need guys that can make 1 havoc-wrecking play, and oh, look at that, you got the ball. Or, oh, look at that, it's 2nd and 16. Now you can give up 8 yards on the next play, and it's not the end of the world. You still have them in 3rd and long. And the Panthers, they just simply don't have that. And I want to give an appropriate hat tip to J.C. Horn, because I was all over him this offseason for essentially this same problem, right? Is the passer rating against was impressive, right? He wasn't tested very often, but he didn't get his hands on the ball, and he didn't make those dramatic plays. So he made the one-handed interception, and I'm like, all right, got to give you credit. You're trying, right? You're out there making plays. But other than that play, there really hasn't been a ton of opportunities for this team to spark. I mean, honestly, I can tell you about 22% of the time they have one of those havoc-wrecking plays.
So that's, one every 4 to 5 snaps.
And, like, to be completely honest, the way that the stat was put together, like a TFL or a pressure, those aren't always the most dramatic things. Like, you have a 1 or 2 yard TFL, I still think the offense is pretty confident in their ability to pick up chunk yardages in the NFL. You need the even bigger havoc plays. You need the sacks that are losses for 8. You need the forced fumbles that get kicked around and you either lose a bunch of yards or you recover it and now turnover going the other way. It's something that the Panthers need to do, quite frankly, because they're not good enough not to. Their offense isn't going to score 40. Right? The defense isn't often going to put together those long, sustained halves of football where they don't make an error. Like, I love to know, and we don't actually ever know this, right? It's one of those completely unknowable things about the universe. But it doesn't matter if your young defensive back was going to make a critical error and give up a touchdown on the 8th play of a drive if your veteran intercepted the ball on the 6th play of the drive, right? I want to give my defense the fewest amount of opportunities to make the big error, and the way you do that is get off the field. The way you do that is get off the field, and that's where some of the decision-making of who to play on the defense gets real frustrating for me. Right at the beginning of the year, I mean, there's only been 2 games, right? But the first game, the young guys didn't play very much, and it felt like Dave Canales had to make this big public display to get the Nick Scortons and Princely Umanmielans and Lathan Ransoms into the game. Princely Umanmielen is that guy that I'm talking about, where he might not be the best edge setter, right? If you have him out there for 9 straight plays, he might not be the best at minimizing, every run to a 2 or 3 yard run. But he also might be the best true edge rusher they have in he could make one play that gets you the ball back. Or he can make one play that sets him up in 2nd and 16. He can make the one play that makes this entire drive slant towards the defense. I almost look at it like and this is the wrong way to think about it because it's not gambling. It's more controlled than that. But for anybody that's seen the movie Rounders, movie references, they pop into my brain against my will sometimes. But the voiceover for Matt Damon is like, when you're playing against the house always wins, except for when you get that one magical hand and the odds are in your favor. And if you can get enough money in the pot on that hand, that's where you can become the winner, right? That's where you can get them. And I look at defense that way. If you're out there for 10 plays, eventually the house is going to win. Eventually the offense is going to connect on one. Eventually the rules are going to give one to the offense, right? Eventually a quarterback is going to make a throw you can't defend. The longer you're out there, the worse your chances are. Unless on one of those early plays, the odds tilt in your favor and you take advantage of it. Right? Unless that offensive lineman doesn't set appropriately for the speed rush and you get to the outside and you end the drive right there. And I don't know if the Panthers are doing that enough. And I'm a little afraid that the Falcons are doing that better than anybody this year going up against the Panthers offense. And I hate to say this, but if you look at number 1, it's the Falcons. You look at number 2, it's Green Bay. You look at number 3, it's Cleveland. These are predictable. What did Atlanta do? They drafted 2 edge rushers in the first round. They traded away a future first to get an additional athletic specimen on the edge. Jalen Walker and Michael Pierce, ironically, 2 guys that played high school football in the state of North Carolina. What did Green Bay do? Oh, simply trade for Micah Parsons this offseason. Oh, you're telling me it's crazy that they're one of the best in Havoc. What did Cleveland do, right? They had to re-sign Myles Garrett. They made sure they kept that guy around. What did the Panthers do? Well, they drafted edge rushers in the second and third round and then didn't play them. Maybe it's not all calculus. Maybe some of this is simple arithmetic. Play the guys that might make the plays that change the game for you. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. And by the way, if they make the really bad decision and they get lit up and you give up a long touchdown, there's a decent chance that drive would have ended in a touchdown anyway if you kept him, even the veterans out there for 10, 12 plays.